Hot button.
So what are the rest of you guys allergic to?
Grass, dead bugs, and dust.
Right, nothing
and
important then.
No.
I've been very impressed with my dust immunity because I cleaned out my computer and was just face palmed with dust as I was.
Did you blow into it, or did you use canned air?
Who the fuck are you? Who are you?
That's
I'm your computer maintenance guy here for Checo.
That's the thing about dust is nobody's actually allergic to dust. You're allergic to what the dust is made out of.
Which is what? Just skin and
Dead
When I start
bugs.
feeling like
hair particles?
Yeah, well, and alive mites that are
mites
very
too.
alive.
Now you're freaking me out.
Very real mites with very real motives.
Yes.
So they're in your brain now, right? Telling you to do things.
Very real mites. That's a They Might Be Giants album, right? If I recall.
Yeah.
Well, holy shit, you guys. We really did it. 2 years. We've officially lasted longer than the Spanish-American War and the marriage of Pamela Anderson and Kid Rock. We should take a second to congratulate ourselves, seriously. Huh?
Speaking
I'll
of
feel good.
divorce,
It's been 2 years. You guys only wake me up to edit, so it's been like a weird time thing where it's kind of felt like a week.
hey, if you want to go back into stasis, you'll keep your fucking mouth shut.
I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be all the talking and the things.
Now, for those of you that have been with us for a while, last November was our recap of all of the stories we covered throughout our first year on the podcasting scene. In it, we reminisced, updated the topics that needed updating, made corrections, and enjoyed each other's company in close proximity, something we sadly won't be able to do this time. Everything else, however, we're going to do again.
Do y'all remember when we started doing it remotely and we were just like, it'll only be for a couple months?
Yeah.
And here we are.
And then I had to drive over to the interface to Chris's house. I was like, you should just hold on to this.
He knew something we didn't.
I just have a feeling like this completely incompetent leadership will lead us down just the most obvious of roads.
Hey, whoa. Starting with year 3, no more politics. New rule. Only video games.
So yeah, clearly it's been a shitty, fucking god-awful 12 months. Not just for everyone out there, of course, but I would say even personally, things were particularly hard on us here since we did this previously. So please forgive us if any of that was noticeable in some episodes. Performing right now can be tough, though we always try to deliver. As far as our show goes, 2020 marks the beginning of when we switch to our bi-weekly schedule for new content, as well as our, I'm going to say it, pretty smooth fucking transition over to online recording, of which we have our wonderful producer and sound engineer to thank.
And now we're switching, starting 2021, we're switching bi-weekly the other way. We're doing 2 episodes a week.
Yeah, the English language is fucking stupid.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Bi-monthly
That was
is
a
the
joke,
same
by the way.
right?
Do not expect 2 episodes a week. We will all literally die.
So this celebration will also likely be a tad shorter than the 2019 one, as we do have less to revisit overall, but I would absolutely be bummed if we weren't able to get all 4 of us back on here together. So without further ado, this is Hot Button's Year 2 Recap Special. I'm Randall Beatrice, here with you-know-who, Austin Blakesley,
Yay.
and Chris Anantuano.
Hey.
And joining us
Shit.
to
Oh, let me try again.
to look back on all
Can't take my catchphrase, dude.
all of the hard work they've done. Jason Domenico. Remember when I pronounced that name wrong last year?
Yeah,
when
we
it
made
said Jason
we made a
Cyrodiil.
joke. We made a joke about it because you got through Blakesley and Iantuano fine, and then fucked up Domenico.
Yeah, that was a great start. But
This is a correction for last year. When Randy fucked up Jason's name.
how you guys feeling?
Tired.
I was really surprised
Itchy.
when Domenico Scarlatti was a musician. I was like, more people should know how to pronounce this name. It's more testament to the fact that no one remembers that composer. He just wasn't as popular
I think
as Beethoven or
what
something.
happened last year is I read it as Dominic. So it was like I said like Domenico.
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
If you ever mention a composer again and not AC/DC, I'll punch you in the face.
God, we were...
wow, what a pull, AC/DC. Of all the musicians, you got one of the shittiest ones. That was a good one.
I know, what is it, Austin? We were recently watching The Boys, and isn't... like the main character Huey has like an obsession with Billy Joel, but apparently in the comic it was supposed to be AC/DC.
No, it wasn't in the comic. It was in the original script.
Oh.
It was supposed to be AC/DC, and he was like, "Wouldn't it be funnier if it was Billy Joel?" And then that became like a big plot point that he likes Billy Joel a lot.
Okay, solid change.
Well, Billy Joel is kind of like it makes a lot
for his character.
Imagine it being AC/DC. It would not fit his character at all.
Yeah.
AC/DC, like he's very shy.
He's not an edgelord.
Like some drunk guy at a bar.
I mean, so how much longer do y'all think we're going to be just flashing Discord icons to each other? Honey.
You really want to talk about that?
Well, I couldn't remember how we kicked it off last time, like before.
In the before time.
In the before times.
In the before times. I think we're going to be in the after times for a while, my friend.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if our year 3 recap was also remote.
Oh, that's dark to think about.
Just saying.
Well, before we get into everything post last December, I believe we have a couple tiny edits from our debut year, starting with the game from our pilot episode that just won't ever die.
The cursed game.
Yeah. Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning.
Re-Reckoning.
Re-Reckoning is the... Yeah. So I think where we last left it, the rights were acquired by THQ Nordic, who then announced and released a remastered version known as Sauce Message Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning.
Kingdom of Amalur Remastered Edition.
It came out on September 8th, 2020 for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The work was done by Kayako, the same studio who previously did the newer issues of the Darksiders games. All the DLC is included. There was even a collector's edition. I don't know exactly where all the profits of this are even going anymore.
The state of Rhode Island, dude.
Yeah. I assume Kurt Schilling still kind of sucks.
I like Darksiders Genesis. That was about the only Darksiders
Yeah, that was made by...
That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it was Airship Syndicate, and they did Darksiders Genesis. So that was made by the same people as 1 and 2. 3 was made by Gunfire, the same people that made Remnant.
Yes, which is crazy to think about after playing that.
And then... yeah, the Airship Syndicate people are making all the League of Legends story mode games or whatever.
So has anyone gotten into this at all? The remaster?
No, we know a couple people that have. Apparently there's a new DLC coming forward as well.
That's so
the studio that's porting it is making a standalone like DLC thing.
Just built in like the
in
same
that engine, yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't even download it on my pirate website. That's how much I don't want to play it.
Yeah, I thought you liked the original, didn't you?
No, I did. I just have no desire to revisit that.
Yeah.
It just looks like...
I'm sure it's a little dated.
That was a cool
It's
game.
a time and a place game. It was a good game, but...
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Now we have better video games.
Yeah, like Avengers. Well, now with that out of the way, once again, what else was there from 2019 that could use a quick comment? GTA 5 is coming out again. Elder Scrolls 6 is never coming out. Epic Games got into
and it's also going to be on Xbox. Yeah. I love how like everyone was like, Microsoft, they treat their IPs pretty good, and for the most part, I kind of agree with that. But like, it would not like a week or two, and we could. Who's the guy's name that came out and just was like, like this isn't going to pay off unless we make it exclusive. Like,
I mean,
we just bought them for $7 million.
They still got to make that Starfield game first, right? And that's still multi-plat. I mean, I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I mean,
about
Sony,
that.
I guess, started it with the Street Fighter thing last generation. I think also.
Yeah, they tried to buy exclusivity for Starfield as well, and then Microsoft just bought the company instead.
So, wait, really?
Yeah, because that's what they bought exclusivity for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo.
The Deathloop thing is hilarious because they already paid for that.
Mm-hmm. Now they paid Microsoft to have an exclusive against Microsoft. It's very funny and real stupid. This industry is real dumb.
That game looks cool though.
Sure.
Epic Games got into yet another lawsuit that I'm sure we'll we're gonna
I bought a hat, dude.
tackle down the road.
I bought a hat. Looks like an old Mac hat, but it says like free Fortnite or whatever. I didn't buy a hat. Just so everybody's aware. But I thought that was real stupid.
The 1984.
Once again, stupid industry.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, standing for either the.
Oh, I know. Like, there's just no stake. That's I like the what was the trending tag was just billionaire fight.
Yeah.
So it's just boy. But Austin, I see that there might have been something with your boy Philip Mewson from our IGN plagiarism scandal.
Yes.
I hear he did a quote, very honest and original Dead Cells review.
Yeah, and he released it by tweeting the meme where it just said the internet, and then there's nothing, and then it says me, very honest and original Dead Cells review. So he revealed it with a meme, which makes me already hate him. But like the good little journalist I am, I watched it.
Why did they make you hate it?
Let me just read some excerpts from the beginning and end of this review.
Okay.
And then we can move on.
I'm sure this will be good.
What if he just started reading the script for like Blade Runner or something?
Like Tears in the Rain. No. Okay, Dead Cells is good. This is from the beginning. Dead Cells is good. It's so good that the first time I tried reviewing it, it left me so speechless that I literally went looking for someone else's opinion to describe it.
What?
This game played such a pivotal
That's
You're
why.
a bad writer.
such a pivotal role in the self-destruction of my career as a games journalist that I shouldn't like it, but I'm still coming back to it 2 years later because it's just that damn good. Cut to the end. I know I'm probably the last person that anyone would ever expect to talk about this game.
Oh, yeah, we agree on
The
something.
stupid shit I pulled will forever remain the biggest regret of my life, and I know that no matter what I do to try and make amends, it'll probably never be enough for some people out there. I certainly can't promise you I'll be able to stick around forever because honestly, I don't know how much more of this negativity I can take. But I want to try and do right by you guys one more time, and I can promise you one thing for sure. This review and every review I create from here on out will always be a very honest and original review.
I mean, I feel like people kind of forgot
So the
until
baseline standard, great.
like
Yes, so just what everybody always does and does most of the time the first time.
We are now like 2 fucking years later, and this dude is still playing the victim.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know how much negativity I can take. It's like, maybe don't be a shithead then.
Yeah. But also he's doing it to himself again by that post. Like, what does he want?
I don't think that post doesn't inherently invite negativity.
No,
I
but it
think
does draw attention to a shitty thing that he did. Like, even if it's apologetic, I don't know. It's just weird. He could have just moved on and.
Yeah, but that's not how shitlords do it in the biz.
I mean, obviously he doesn't deserve like death threats. He just.
Agree to disagree.
What did you send him?
Moving on.
What did you send him?
Nothing.
All right. Well, No Man's Sky. I saw you, Jason and Chris, have been getting back into that a little here and there.
I got lost in that for the past few weeks.
Just put a cool 20, 30 more hours into that game.
No
recently.
shit. All right. Well, how's it been going?
Can I describe
what's
my
it
work
like
experience? Now? All right. So I think Chris told me this was a recent update. So I feel like No Man's Sky is now at that moment because I tried it multiple times and I'm not huge into survival games with no
direction.
Direction. So I feel like whatever this update did, as soon as I got on, it felt like it was like holding my hand along as far as the main quest goes to like learn the mechanics of the game. And I was like super appreciative of that. But also apparently they added in all these new beasts and things that I didn't know about that. So I get very lucky. Chris tells me that I found like the most perfect planet I could possibly have spawned on.
Well, he found a paradise planet. They're like probably 1 in 20, 1 in 30 or something. He just spawns on one.
Yeah. So like I'm immediately like privileged, like living on this. It's a purple planet. It's got these neon grass at night. It's got
now you're not going to want to leave your home planet,
security. He doesn't. Do you know how long it took him to get to visit somewhere else?
So I'm just like, Chris is playing with me. And he's being an asshole. He's shooting the ground.
I was about to ask if you were all in co-op doing this.
Yeah, so I'm just getting used to these like intermittent explosions near me and not thinking about it. And all of a sudden, it sounds like Chris has crashed his ship into me, like the worst he's ever done. And I start immediately yelling at him, like, what are you doing? Like, I just heard this giant explosion. And I look up in the sky, and this worm was so big that it blocked out the sun as it jumped over me. It was like this huge worm,
like
and it just like was like treating the ground like a dolphin would the sea, like just jumping in and out of it. And my mouth is hanging open, like it was really unbelievable. So like just something like that on like the very first planet.
So naturally, Chris blew that whole world up, right?
No, but I did. I wish he did discover it and upload it, so he couldn't change the name to it. That was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose.
Wait, what's the name,
dude? I just left. I don't name things. I usually just leave them whatever the random generator makes.
You don't do the Austin thing where it's like presented by Sobe Water.
Oh yeah, the Gamer Den presented by Best Buy.
I ruined that planet because I found like you can name plants and animals that you find if you're the first to find them, you can rename them. So I was just being stupid. Like I found there was this creature with a big hump, so I was like, I want to name it Humper and just be like whatever. And it turns out that I named the planet Humper instead of the thing. I renamed the whole. So every time I go down to my perfect world, it's like returning to Humper, and it just makes I really wish
the
I wasn't
modern
so
equipment
crude.
of like keeping your AOL name when it's just like Big Dick Boy 29.
Yeah. Lose the homies or lose the shame.
After that, there is also a fairly significant change with game ratings in reference to not only our ESRB multi-parter, but also our Battlefront 2 blind box topic. Being as it is a bit more closely related to that one, though, I think we might wait until we get there. Then it's our Jeff Gerstmann episode. Still one of our most trafficked stories and part of their helpful community. So I feel like I should mention the CNET and therefore Giant Bomb and GameSpot, Metacritic, as well as that comes up a lot on our show. Their recent acquisition by Red Ventures for $500 million, as it was formerly sold by Viacom CBS. The staff at all these outlets not really having any idea of the situation until the deal was done. It's difficult at this point to say what will fully become of this, but hopefully everybody can continue to run their respective sites the way that they see fit. And originally, I had a note here regarding the wish that no one loses their job or creative works, although we have unfortunately already been hearing that that hasn't been the case so far. Apparently, everyone else employed through them still only knows about as much as we currently do. Then it's Halo, which Infinite still isn't out. Austin, any words?
I don't want to talk about it. Move on.
I know there was some people in and out of that team.
I said move on.
These past few months. All right. Other than that, it'd sure be fucking great for us to be able to do another live special again one day. That and more movie watching, as I confidently say there are loads of fun stuff on the docket list for that. Maybe we'll figure something out through
I listened back
Discord,
to year one this weekend, and we talked about Final Fantasy Spirits Within, and we also talked about the Doom movie, both of which I think we should do at some point.
That would be. I mean,
that would be fun to watch, like another movie stream. You know?
Yeah. I saw you guys posting about the Monster Hunter trailer.
Yeah.
What?
Fucking travesty.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense for the Resident Evil people. Like they've just been so far from the point. You know, from this entirety at this point. Like, everything they do.
Yep. Same director, and he had like the Not Paul W. Wait, what's his name? Paul S. Anderson. It sounds like the other director who's actually acclaimed, but it's not.
Paul Thomas Anderson is the one that's good at his job. Paul W. S. Anderson is the one that does the Resident Evil movies.
Yes, and he's also married to Mila Jovovich, right? Okay, that would explain her role in
every movie.
Yeah,
Lilo Dallas Multipass.
Yeah. Oh, that movie's great. The Sega series that reminded me, Austin, about your recent Dreamcast endeavors.
Oh, yeah, I hacked a Dreamcast.
Yeah. That's been cool to toy around with.
Really?
Yeah, we played the, actually kind of a connection to another episode, we played the unreleased...
Half-Life Dreamcast port,
yeah. That was wild.
Wait, so a physical Dreamcast you hacked to read ROMs or something?
There's a thing you can buy called the GDEMU, and it's a little board that has an SD card slot on it. You take out the laser that reads the discs and replace it with this little board.
There's a PlayStation one going around.
Yeah, put a bunch of ROMs on an SD card and then pop it in, and then when you boot it, it just boots to a list of all the games on the SD card, and you can just play them right off of the hardware.
With the exception of Half-Life, which makes sense.
Really
Everything
cool.
worked really well.
Did you hack those Tamagotchi memory cards? Did you
Yes,
get that
the
working?
VMU.
Yes, I have a VMU.
shit was fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, me and my friend Mike he was just reminiscing about Sonic Adventure 2. And he was
the Chow Garden.
I played it on GameCube, but he played it on Dreamcast, where you could take those chows out like to school or something and just like, feed them on your memory card.
I do real quick have to mention that the way that Half-Life game controlled, because I'm still thinking about it. Well, it's bad, but it's also like before shit was figured out with Halo and Time Splitters and Red Faction and stuff, like it was interesting to see how they like had to port this PC game to console. So I don't know if any of you guys are Southpaws. No? Okay. So
when I box.
Don't even talk about it.
It's literally...
Only when I box.
Imagine a Dreamcast controller, right? So it's kind of dual analog, but the left analog stick is look. And because there's only one stick, the right side of the controller with the face buttons is move.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I guess you would want more precision on look, but the fact that it's flipped like kind of broke my brain. I know there's probably some people that maybe to this day still, when playing on a controller, a first-person game, will flip that stuff.
Yeah, Southpaw.
We'll reverse it. But oh my God, that was so weird. And it was like the D-pad down was crouch, the D-pad up was jump, so you couldn't jump and turn at the same time. But like the shooting was like, you'd think naturally they do a bumper jumper thing and have like
there's no bumpers.
That on the no, there's a left trigger.
Yeah, but that's not a bumper, dude.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
They don't call it trigger jumper.
But it was fucking weird, but very fun to.
Also, I would be remiss if I didn't make fun of you
because Blue Shift was on there as well.
I like how you're like Halo, and then also put Red Faction and Time Splitters with Halo.
Red Faction one predated Halo
like
one.
They're important and stuff.
Time Splitters one and Red Faction one are very important in terms of modern console control. When's
Time Splitters Infinite coming out? See, you didn't respond. You didn't respond properly. That's when you. That's when you say when's Halo Infinite coming out, and then I leave. Then I leave the podcast.
Well, because I didn't jump on it quick enough, then that means you're staying.
I made fun of myself first.
Austin's just here to construct all the jokes for us.
They've never made a bad Halo game. Move on. Don't say anything about that.
ODST is the best Halo. Fight me.
Didn't Spartan Assault get a sequel?
When's Haze Infinite coming out?
As soon as Korn gets back together. Okay. I don't know if they're broken up. It's just... all right. Okay, another little update here. This one I like. Our Final Fantasy 14 Housing Crisis episode with Chelsea on March 27th, 2020. Hold on.
All the anti-capitalists in the chat, get ready to get very angry. Continue.
All right, so it was revealed that Square Enix was freezing evictions on in-game homes in the wake of the COVID-19 outbreak.
They froze evictions in Final Fantasy.
Something Real Banks obviously should
That is wild. I know shit about that.
That is fucking wild. That's like about the only way.
You know what's funny? Like ESO is such like ESO is nothing like that, and the way they do their barter system is a little backwards. It's very competitive based. Like instead of most fucking MMOs where there's just a global market, and it's really like streamlined. You have like individual guilds all competing for like traffic space in different towns. I just can't imagine ESO. ESO is probably the closest to the American government when it comes to like housing, and guild costs and stuff.
So what you're saying is Elder Scrolls is a very conservative game.
When it comes to its market, yeah.
So the highly popular MMO, known for its crazy competitive property market, decided to waive automatic demolitions of abandoned plots, often caused by players' unpaid subscriptions, and instead chose to temporarily suspend the process's typical 45-day policy to have no limit until further notice. There was also a quote. It was a very kind gesture to the locked down citizens worldwide that had to resort to unemployment, but still needed a nice digital escape for their respective sanities. Also, as far as I can tell, this remains in effect even today, with representatives stating that they will continue to do so until the pandemic is over.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Good on
how
them.
neat that the Square Enix is better at this than the fucking American government.
Where's my $1,200?
Yeah, I want my $1,200.
We didn't even get our second $1,200. It's being held as blackmail, isn't it? Like,
not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Again, no politics.
Sorry.
Here's talking about the video game industry.
Here's something funny. The episode after that was E3. Remember those? We can get deeper into that one during our coverage of year 2, though, if you prefer.
Yeah, save it for later.
Okay. Destiny. I think the last piece of news that came up about this prior was their announcement that they were leaving the BattleNet launcher on PC in favor of just selling and launching through Steam, which I only found out after wondering where that 90 gigs of used space was coming from on my hard drive since it's removable. But question though, is anyone here still been playing or checking in on any of that new stuff?
No.
Okay.
I have a friend that's been trying, but the grind for Destiny is just... I do have fond memories of it, but...
Me too.
I've only heard bad things.
I have over 2,000 hours of fond memories and 400 of the second one. I only know this because I was talking about it yesterday. We looked it up. I recently was like, all right, fuck it, I'll get on. And it was just like maybe 2 months ago, I bought the whatever battle pass thing. It's like $10 for like a 200 or 100 days or whatever. And I was just playing, and I was like, after 2 days, I was like, this is just trash. Like, this game has just the potential to have so much. Like, what used to keep me going about the game was the gameplay loop was so much fun. The shooting is brilliant. I still to this day think it's the best fucking first-person shooter.
It plays like
ever,
a dream.
like physically. Yeah. But like, that's just not enough anymore. There's just like not enough to it. I was just playing and I was just so disenchanted with the shit I had to do that I was like, this is worse.
It's always like, my initial problem with Destiny was always that it was a very linear game disguised by an open world feel. And it's funny how much that came playing No Man's Sky made that apparent, because first of all, they just ripped all of Destiny's UI design.
It has the loose cursor thing, doesn't it?
I actually like it, but like when you're like moving to another planet in like warp speed in No Man's Sky, I'm just like, wow, this is like the loading screen for Destiny, except I'm actually going somewhere and I have control over it.
If I play another looter shooter,
a schluter, if you will. Yep.
It's gonna be either Avengers or the revision of Anthem. That's the vow I'm making right now.
Why?
Because I don't like myself or video games.
Wait, what's next for that 10-year plan that they were working on?
They're still doing it. There's an expansion coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, an expansion coming out like in what?
I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
so our next gen versions of it were announced.
They come out
right?
December. I want to say the next gen version.
Does it have cross-play? It has cross-save.
Yeah, it has cross-save.
Okay.
No, I don't know if it has cross-play.
All right, I wasn't sure.
It doesn't, because the last time I played Destiny 2 was when some asshole currently on this podcast bought me Google Stadia for Christmas.
I don't know who that was.
And the only thing that I could play for free was Destiny 2. And there were like 14 people on it. So...
yeah, you can be the best.
You'll be the best then.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I always thought the thing that was missing from Destiny was getting color banding and compression like a 240p YouTube video while I'm playing it.
Yes.
So I really like the Stadia version.
That's just a retro build, dude.
Yeah.
No, I just personally just feel like it's just like, I think about this, like I'm not trying to knock games that have like the same thing over and over again. Obviously I play ESO. I mean, it is just doing like the same dungeon and shit over and over again, but it's different. When I do like, if you're just running strikes over and over again in Destiny for like some chance at one thing that you're just going to break down, it kind of sucks when it's like, it feels like goals in true MMOs are more directed and Destiny's more just like, do this grind and then like, it doesn't really matter though. You don't have to do the grind. The reality is you have like very specific routes to take to things. Like you can probably cheese your way to a high level just doing like very specific things, and that's not fun. Or you can do this deep fucking grind of all the different things, which is also just not fun.
Yeah.
I just don't.
It's a bummer.
It's just not.
They're really gonna have to reinvent. Destiny 3 will happen one day,
said it's
right?
Not.
Wait,
they're sticking with 2, yeah.
For how long? Forever?
For the foreseeable future, I guess. Which is a shame, because my problem with Destiny is not even necessarily that the loop isn't fun, but also the loop is fun. But my problem is that, like, I stopped playing because other video games came out. And every time an expansion comes out, I see their trailers, and I'm like, I'd like to jump into that for a little bit. It is impossible to just jump into that game for a little bit and then be done.
Yeah.
Because there is so much shit to do, and the grind is so slow that you just have to sit there and do it all.
I have a very love-hate relationship with the way that the progress in that game is gated, because it prevents if you're playing with people, it does stop others from like just boosting ahead to the point that you'll like never be able to comfortably party up with them. But at the same time, it holds up a stop sign of like how much you can really get done in a sitting. Yeah. So
that's why I'm moving to Avengers, dude.
I don't really know a solution to that.
Anthem 2. Can't wait.
So back to loot boxes, everybody's favorite. Mm-hmm. Despite Star Wars Battlefront being able to actually maintain a relatively devoted audience.
Dude, speaking of, not even gonna lie, I've been playing the last 2 days. I've been playing Battlefront 2 hardcore.
Yeah? All right, well, that's what I meant too. Sorry, but yeah. But I mean, one group of folks that assuredly weren't happy were those at the ESRB in an effort to fight against the waves of backlash from fans, parents, and governments in regards to these egregious microtransactions, the actual thing, not our show. They, on April 13th of this year, implemented a brand new label to their GameBox ratings. The warning would read, quote, in-game purchases, and then in parentheses underneath, includes random items. You could argue that it's maybe a little bit late to the party, but now buyers everywhere in the North Americas will know when a product offers additional blind spending or other forms of currency that support the same. One thing about this that does make me kind of curious is whether or not publishers would even be comfortable featuring such bold words on their physical units and store pages, considering the rightful stigma surrounding it. Meaning, like, do you feel that that pressures companies to figure out some other way to get money instead with the Battle Pass route or whatever? Because that technically still falls under the line. That and when the getting was good for this type of shit. Like,
oh yeah, Battle Pass is definitely random loot boxes. Since the ESRB is just now tackling that problem.
Yeah, like those games are already out there doing it.
Battlefront destroyed that business. Battle Pass is the new thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And Battle Pass is not random. It does not engage psychologically the same parts of the brain that gambling does in the same way loot boxes do. It engages much different. It engages addiction, which is a much different psychological problem for people to tackle.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they said this, but does that mean they're reprinting boxes from before that date?
I don't know.
For game, you know, for stuff like Overwatch or, I mean, mobile stuff, it doesn't even matter since they have their own rating system. Well, Apple does anyway. I think Google Play and Windows, they did shift to implementing the ESRB scale back in like 2015, 2016. But have any of you guys actually seen this on anything yet?
No, I don't look at physical boxes anymore.
Well, have you seen it on?
Because going into stores is illegal or whatever.
But even on
do they have it on? Is that on Steam?
Yeah, it's on online stores too.
No, I haven't.
Because obviously, as you mentioned, not that we've been to retailers much since April, but
the most
interesting an official thing for there to be like a disclaimer for microtransactions, but not battle passes is what. But
you're
not
saying. Battle passes, yeah.
My most
so it may not even change a thing.
My most recent game purchases were Among Us, Cook Serve Delicious 3, and Vanquish. So, no, I have not seen this warning.
That Sega sale. Getting all that Sega sale.
You were rolling in the.
I also got Vanquish on a sale.
Yeah,
it's $5 right now.
$5.
I mean, what was the last thing that we all played that had loot boxes?
I played Battlefront 2 with Jason and Chris like a couple months ago?
Last time I played Battlefront 2, I remember the game felt like they had absolutely gotten so much backlash because the whole level up system was really facilitated. Like,
I don't think it's fixed. I don't think it's fixed though, because when we played one game where there were people that have been playing clearly forever, and
they but like
steamrolled us because of that.
I in the amount of time that I was playing for maybe like a week or two, I got multiple classes up to the top rank, and that's pretty much the only thing you're when you first join the game, when people have a higher rank than you, it's not like passive things, like they will clearly have like a direct advantage. But it's not so much like anymore where you have to level up through the loot boxes. You just sort of get levels, and it seemed like so fast. It seemed like that's what they updated because of the backlash.
I mean, I don't know about loot box games, but like Fall Guys has a battle pass, Siege has a battle pass now,
Rocket League,
Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, Ronald Reagan. is going to have a battle pass, and apparently they're going to have three battle passes.
What? One
for Warzone, one for multiplayer, and one for zombies.
No.
And I swear to God, if the zombies battle pass makes the game mode worse, I'm going to find out where Treyarch lives, and I'm going to deliver them a sternly worded letter.
I mean, it's a shame because I think we said it on the for Battlefront and the episode that Chris hosted is that game is fun. Like it's like, and it's well made.
I like it when the Star Wars music comes on, and then I'm a Star Wars, and then there's a bunch of Star Wars sounds and lights. It's great.
It really is. Honestly, the best part of the game is all the Star Wars sounds and lights.
I wish DICE.
And I fucking hate Star Wars. Star Wars is the absolute lowest denominator.
That's not true. Look at Transformers.
Listen, sir. I watched the Dune movie recently with Randy and his roommate.
And it's wonderful.
And don't you dare say that Star Wars is stupid. Anybody who's ever told me that Dune is the best sci-fi of all time can fuck off and go to hell.
I've never said
Star Wars doesn't have Sting and a Speedo.
That's very true.
Those shields look pretty cool.
I think Dune is stupid too. Don't come at me.
Yeah, you like Star Trek though, where everybody's all communist or whatever. Star Wars is like the good old US of A.
I love being out of the I love being in the dark with Star Trek because I get treated to a video of a dude named Riker sitting down in chairs.
Oh yeah,
the way he just dominates every chair by straddling his leg over the chair to sit in it, and it was just amazing to me. Like I like these little.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Star Wars used to mean a lot to me. But
yeah, the original three Star Wars movies are great. And then they got joking. Baby Yoda.
Obviously, I'm not attacking.
No, I didn't read that as an attack. Nobody will criticize Star Wars louder than me.
Randy's
not nobody. That's not true.
But you are stupid
fan.
For
the internet
Star
will
Wars,
do that.
Huge fan of Baby Yoda, Randy. Has all the pop finals.
That is just marketing and focus group testing incarnate. Like,
yeah, but he's so cute. Though.
I hate it. I take it all back.
Every Star Wars fan that I talk to, like actual Star Wars fans, they will swear by the written material and like the Clone Wars animations, like all the side story, all the things that aren't the popular AAA Star Wars.
Well, that was the thing. We mentioned this in their show before, but there was a time when it was like. That universe felt crafted by all these different people with different ideas in a way that was fun to explore when you were young. Like it's, the fact that it bled into comics and video games and toys was like, and then Disney kind of nuked it and started over.
Then it got capitalismed. And everything's made by one person with all the power. Yeah. Sorry, no politics. Talking about video games.
Oh, right.
when you're playing, since you can see all the lasers, when it's like 40 people charging 40 people, and there's just like a fucking just an absolute rainstorm of lasers going back and forth. It is fucking cool. I will admit.
No, I really wish
that's definitely
DICE
not worth 100 hours, unlike Darth Vader. But
yeah.
No, I wish DICE would be like divorced from EA in some future. Like I like to imagine that they're just being restrained because they're one of the best studios that are out there. Like they make like incredible,
and yet nobody knows how to use their engine.
They do.
Yeah. They do. It's true.
They had to stop making Battlefield games to teach everybody else how to use Frostbite.
Up next is the PlaySpace Station. On February 20th, 2020, the Nintendo PlayStation went up for public auction, making that already insane story even more insane. The fascinating and working prototype broke the internet when it was first unearthed in 2015 after being sold by former president of Sony Computer Entertainment, Olaf Olafsson, to a man named Terry Diebold for a mere $75.
I'm going to change my name to Austin Austinson.
As we went over in the episode. But then, after foolishly rejecting a private offer for $1.2 million, our lucky owner went on to post a high-profile online auction in an effort to profit even more. However, a few weeks later, on March 6th, the item in question would instead only pull in a mere $300,000, $360K with Diebold's premium after the time allotted, thus earning him significantly less than anticipated.
Yeah, bet you regret that now. Fucking giving up $600,000.
The winning bid was from Greg McLemore, founder of both Pets.com and Toys.com, who stated that he was interested in adding it to his collection so that he may one day open a museum. Cooler than what was being done with it before. Anyway, I guess
it probably would have sat in some celebrity's house. Whoever was offering $1 million for it.
Palmer Luckey tried to buy it, so as long as he doesn't own it, I don't care.
God, doesn't he own?
Who's that?
He's the founder of Oculus that used all the money Facebook gave him to get Donald Trump elected.
Who bought the Wu-Tang record? Was that Elon?
No, that was Martin Shkreli.
Oh, that was Shkreli.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's that's Diabetes boy.
How could I forget? Well, he's locked up.
Yeah, he's in jail now.
At least, yeah. See, the piece itself is no doubtably a true artifact of gaming history, but the sad truth is there actually isn't particularly much that many rich people could do with it. The lesson we did learn here, though, is to maybe set greed aside and take that first opportunity if it seems generous enough. I mean, like, he got it for only $75. Like, after all, like...
Fuck it, if he sold it for $100, it's a deal.
Yeah, you could buy like a bunch of food from Taco Bell with $25.
Yeah, and then maybe he could win an Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
You could have grabbed that.
You could sell that for more than a fucking space station.
Then it's our first microtransactions. I always like those. All I have for mine is that Australia still hates drugs. On March 15th, 2019, a silly arcade sports indie game called Super Blood Hockey was banned after being released 2 years prior when it was discovered that you could drug up your hockey players to take on the opposing teams. Roids, I assume, but it was not specified in the press release I found. Now, Austin, I believe there was something you wanted to shout out in reference to your folding at home section.
I'll get to it with microtransactions too.
Okay. Yeah. So Destructive Creations, the not-so-fine developers of Hatred, shipped not one, not two, but 3 new video games. Is Defense in 2016, which I may have missed before, my bad. Ancestors Legacy in 2018, and Daymare 1998 in 2019. Supposedly the latter 2 reviewed okay. The first not so much. I read that it was also about the expansion of ISIS, so... Oh. But hey, no controversies or AO ratings this time. So yeah, whatever. Then it was our Halloween specials, our next from last year. Funny to think about after just finishing its sequels. My subjects are pretty resolute, but Austin, did any more of that curse strike in the world of American football?
The Madden 20...
Besides COVID.
Yeah, anyway. The Madden 21 cover athlete got hit with 2 strikes, which was the Madden curse and also the Drake curse.
The musician?
Yeah. Which is apparently like if he wears your jersey, it's bad.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Is it because then you're associated with a pedophile? Is that why?
No. Just, because he wore a jersey of somebody once and then they like broke their ankle or something. But then in an interview, the Madden 21 athlete, whose name escapes me because I don't watch football, said that it's fine because the 2 curses cancel each other out.
Is that how it works?
He is still playing football and not hurt, so...
Okay. Well, for now, we'll see how the rest of this season
He beat the curse by getting Drake to wear his jersey.
Cool.
Then it's EVE Online. Chris, I know you and Jason were telling me and Austin the other day about some pretty wild shit that's been happening over there in that realm, adding more to our already zany-filled adventure that you covered.
Yeah, I started writing some stuff down today. I'll give you the short version of what I was talking about, but I'm going to hold off because I messaged our chat and Discord.
Yeah, you're saying maybe a part 2.
We definitely need to do a part 2 because I stumbled upon an insane fucking story.
That's awesome.
That is absolutely worth telling, and it'll probably take 20, 30 minutes to tell that story alone. So I think I think we'll do a part 2 or we'll do another grouping of stories from EVE Online.
I'm excited, but yeah, give us a bite size of...
But just a quick little version of one of the stories. Basically, there was a member of, I don't know his exact faction, but he was a fleet commander under the Imperium, I believe, which is like the biggest faction in the game. Goon Swarm is like the central group inside of the Imperium. And he went off to military service. He was deployed somewhere. And when he came back, they denied him his job back as a fleet commander. And he was like, all right, fuck you. And then started his own faction with the sole purpose of destroying the leader of Goon Swarm.
Hell yeah.
And has since then rallied almost double the amount of players in the Imperium to his side. And started almost the equivalent of World War II in EVE. And it's happening right now. It's still going on as of right now. And he started literally this just in a just a staggeringly large war.
Well, keep an eye on how that plays out. Yeah, like, holy shit.
With literally his sole focus is just like, I obviously I can't make him quit the game. If I could, I would. But my intention is to make it so that they're never the same again. So they scatter. He wants to destroy Goonswarm once and for all and make sure they like never come. Like they're so scattered that they can't come back for a while.
Man, he is pissed.
Yeah, it's his vendetta war. I love it. And he's like, that's my motive. I just want to completely destroy him. That's it.
That truly the attitude of an ex-goon. That's great. Well, another page in their history book.
Yeah. Oh, and there was also something interesting. There's a big PvE thing that just happened in EVE as well, where like there's like I think we talked about it before how there's like PvP space and there's like safer space where you can't do as much player killing. And in that space, they started some PvE event where like aliens were invading, and you could either help or hurt them. And one faction was going to benefit if the aliens won. So basically, they tricked the Imperium into joining the alien side so that they would do the work for them because they were the biggest faction. And like got them to help. Yeah, it was a very cool story. Like they basically were like, yeah, we're getting involved. And they're like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah, because it's important to us. And they're like, no, we hate you. So they literally used spite to get the biggest faction involved to do their bidding for them. And I just thought it was like, I don't know. It's just very clever.
Oh my God.
That fucking game is full of people like just being expert saboteurs.
That's great. Now, World of Warcraft. Okay. Our awesome episode with Mr. Dan Bittner. I hear this is quite the interesting update to this one as well. If you care to explain.
If you would believe it, a story that was studied by epidemiologists got a big boost this year.
Yeah.
First off, we talked about WoW Classic.
Yes.
A lot in that episode.
Yeah, I was curious.
Zul'Gurub, the raid that Corrupted Blood took place in, was released in WoW Classic in April of this year.
How did they handle that?
However, because WoW Classic is based on the most recent patch of Warcraft, it includes the hotfix that fixes the problem. Therefore, there was no more Corrupted Blood this time.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah. And I want to read also, it got a lot of publicity because obviously of COVID. And a lot of epidemiologists have been quoted saying that the data collected from studying Corrupted Blood did play a part in their dealings with the coronavirus. And here is a quote. I'm going to read two bits. One is from Matthew Rossi at blizzardwatch.com. Is like a Blizzard blog, but he puts it better than I could. So I just want to read this little bit. Lower level characters were killed almost instantly by the 300 or so damage every time the plague ticked, but higher level characters could survive it, and thus some players immediately began spreading it on purpose.
The bioterrorist mode.
Behavior of interest to the researchers looking into COVID-19, because it's similar to the way some people, when presented with changes to their lives intended to prevent the spread, will instead refuse to make those changes. It's not exactly the same motivation. While there are people who have gone around licking things on purpose or otherwise behaving in a manner deliberately designed to spread it, the behavior of players more accurately maps to that of people who ignored warnings and continued the spread.
Hey, whoa. I thought you said we weren't going to get political.
However, as fascinating and disturbing as the parallels between the pandemic and this video game plague are, we won't be seeing piles of dead bodies in our auction house this time around. This is about the game, not real life. Patch 1.7 was hotfixed to prevent Hunter and Warlock pets from spreading Corrupted Blood, and WoW Classic will be running on that hotfix code when Zul'Gurub goes live in April, which is just as well, in my opinion. While players today talk somewhat fondly about the incident with the benefit of hindsight, at the time it was almost impossible to play the game, especially if you made use of the auction house in any regularity and otherwise frequented Orgrimmar or Ironforge.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be in bad taste to fucking have that happen too.
Yeah, I just like the quote about how low-level players were affected, but high-level players weren't, so therefore they didn't follow the guidelines. Interesting parallels to real life. Republicans.
Are you saying that people who have the privilege to be fucking stupid can harm others?
Yes, exactly.
Bold claims.
This is another quote. I mentioned that the epidemiologists who studied the Corrupted Blood incident and wrote papers on it, Dr. Nina Pfefferman and Dr. Arif Lofgren, in 2007, published a paper on their findings. The only thing I have here is that Dr. Nina Pfefferman was quoted in an interview recently saying that paper was consulted to help inform her current research in the predictive modeling of COVID-19. So,
cool.
Yes.
Huh.
We did that episode like a couple months before we knew the world would collapse. Very interesting.
So I'm glad World of Warcraft is good for something after all.
Yeah.
Okay, fast forwarding now past our previous recap special. So everything we're going to discuss here on out is new. Well, not new, but yeah, you know what I mean. The first full revisits of these episodes, anyway. Beginning with the one on the voice actor strike at number 51. Austin, I know this was yours, but I remain proud of that title. Was there anything you wanted to take a look at there?
Yes, no new news. However, I did mention this in the episode, the agreement between SAG-AFTRA and the Video Game Publishers Alliance or whatever was approved by majority vote in November of 2007 and created a deal lasting 3 years. So it is currently, as of recording this, close to the end of October 2020. Therefore, next month their deal expires.
Oh, you mean 2017?
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said 2007.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
I got the thing about corrupted blood. Yeah, November 2017, deal lasting 3 years. It is almost November 2020 as of this recording and will be November 2020 when this comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
We'll see if they just extend that deal or if there's another fight. Who knows?
On to the Game Awards. That was fun. We certainly didn't mean for that series to go as long as we did, but, you know, we're passionate people. We don't get to give deeper opinions on so many games, especially current ones, that often on here. Plus, to the kind of like betting like sort of aspect was a good time.
Yeah.
So just recently on September 23rd, after an unsure year, it was revealed that the annual show would continue again in 2020. No news yet on the nominations or how they will even be handling it, both in terms of rules and the event itself. Probably safe to say the live in-person element won't occur. One thing that is for certain, though, is that we're going to be covering it again. This go likely much shorter when you think about the amount of titles that even made it out these past months and what we were personally able to finish. Maybe we'll just split the before and after into one full ep. We haven't decided exactly yet. You know, just like combining that audio into... But we'll see. But yeah, look out for that. The show itself will take place on December 10th and is said to be streaming from Los Angeles, Tokyo, and London. Hopefully they'll unveil some new shit. They usually do. The Series X even made its debut here last year. Anywho, next up was Microtransactions number 2. I don't really have much to say on mine other than a thank you to Scott the Woz for making me first aware of the debacle that was Poop Slinger. I forgot to shout him out before, but he's the man. Check him out. Now, Austin... I didn't mean to jump the gun before on...
Well, I wanted to group these together because I kind of grouped Microtransactions 1 and 2 together because I did Folding at Home and then I did Fold It, which is a branch-off thing. That was that game that lets you fold proteins. Mm-hmm. Both of those have also been used to study COVID. That's pretty much my only update. Fold It had a game where people could try folding the COVID proteins to try to get research for a vaccine. And Folding at Home's computing power that I talked about was used for the same thing. So, more COVID updates. That's about it.
Yeah, look out here first.
Yes, all your COVID...
No, please don't. Please don't.
Your COVID
Please go find a reputable, quick news service.
I just want to...
Like Twitter.
Since I'm talking about COVID so much, I just want to say, wear a mask, stay inside as much as possible, and that's it. I guess vote. Maybe.
The third piece in this one, but that was on the Congo War that Chris covered, which was intense to listen to. I'm sure the fight for any precious metals after this has ended, right? Everyone's got enough?
Yeah, the Congo is totally safe from foreign imperialism, and I think they actually sell rainbows on every street corner, and you can just buy them. And they fill
what a
you
lovely
up
update!
Full of hunger and
that's
thirst.
So nice.
With not a hint of sarcasm.
Then it's the Mirai botnet, which which is also a crazy one.
Those people are still arrested.
Yeah.
And I think that they've made bots that are better than the Mirai botnet by now.
Has Minecraft itself come any closer to taking down the internet yet again? Or
no.
Steve's invading Smash Bros.
Yeah, Steve's in Smash Brothers.
With his new Net Nazis for Work windscreen.
If you, stakes his dick or whatever. If you grab...
Please don't ever patch that, Nintendo.
Yeah. If you use his side B, Bank of America crashes.
We could only be so lucky. Yeah. I think you guys know what we started after this. The Tetris Gauntlet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I still appreciate
you
all letting me take
Tetris
over
for that long.
the first 2 months of the year.
It was
massive
honestly
epic.
one of our biggest mistakes.
Yeah.
Would you believe that I seriously don't have much to add?
Really?
Well, it'll just be a couple quick shots, I
Oh,
promise.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How could you have anything to add?
Welcome back to part 2 of our year 2 recap.
Welcome back to part 5 where we talk about Lexi Pajitnov for an hour again.
Hey, I already made my corrections in the middle of the series, luckily. But basically, Tetris is still continuing to kill it.
Is it?
Yeah, there's about to be new entries soon with Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 and Tetris Effect Connected that I can't wait for.
They hacked Tetris 99. What do you feel about that?
I did see that. And then those devs went on to make that Mario 35 game that'll disappear in a couple months for some fucking stupid reason. There was also, speaking of dumb, that mobile app where you could make money off Tetris by winning against other people.
I played that.
HQ style. But there's no way in Space Hell that I'm going to play that shit on a touchscreen.
I played that's the most I've played Tetris.
As I've stated before.
It's the best version of Tetris currently on the market.
You disgust me.
Tetris was always meant to be played with touch controls. Just leave it at that.
And then also I have that Tetris movie that was greenlit back in 2016 where it was supposed to be, quote, an epic sci-fi adventure that will form part of a trilogy.
Classic Tetris.
Yeah. Well, this thankfully has not come out or come to fruition in any way.
All you gotta do is take Bridge of Spies and just put a line block in it somewhere. None of the Tetris movie.
So this was said to be coming from Threshold Entertainment and filmed overseas in China for a budget of $80 million. More importantly, however, a second film about the history of the game itself was also announced. This was on July 18th, this past summer. This was reported by the Elk Valley Times. It essentially will tell the same origin story along with the legal battles that succeeded it, like we did.
You think that'll be a 4-part?
Yeah, Randy. If Randy wrote a fucking Peter Jackson had to take up the goddamn directing it.
But it's just like us, but instead, Taron Egerton he's going to be starring as Hank Rogers.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you think we get somebody to pay us $80 million for your episodes?
I don't know. This could be dope. I feel like the whole thing, it absolutely lends itself well to a good docudrama if done right. Although, just remember, everybody, that if and when it does come out and inevitably gets all the facts wrong, know that you heard it all accurately here first.
Idea.
We're true blue here at Hot Button.
Idea. We'll do a movie commentary, but instead of making fun of the movie, you'll just live fact check it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm so in. Everybody would want to listen to that.
Palming for 2 hours while you go, it's not like it didn't happen.
Yeah. You should already hear the shit I talk before I got.
Oh, I do.
Well, before I got my Tetris tattoo, and I was looking up people that other folks that got Tetris tattoos, and their colors were wrong.
I know. I designed the colors.
Yeah.
You were very strict about what they could be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's okay, so for anybody who listens who's been to my house, that wide fan base.
I think there's like 2 people.
In our kitchen, we have a big. We have poster board all over the walls with just hours and hours of drawings from random people.
All kinds of great stuff.
One of my favorites is there's a really small section where somebody drew Tetris blocks. I'm assuming Austin.
That might have been me. I don't remember.
No, it's Randy drew them.
Okay.
No, well, so the colors are wrong.
What? No, that was not me then.
It wasn't me either.
Then somebody writes R ... as in Randy is saying this. This is supposed to be blue, I think it says.
That was me. Okay.
And then under it just says A from Austin. It says you should be likable.
I didn't see that update.
You didn't?
Fuck you. know that that's still there. God.
Randy at a party.
I'm so funny, dude.
Well, speaking of funny, Twitch Plays Pokemon, one of our most successful episodes to date in terms of reach and listens. Sorry, I know I'm jumping around a little with how some of these multi-parters are split up, but yeah, if you haven't heard this one yet, please look into it. It's fucking hilarious. I can't really think of...
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the names.
Oh, there was an update.
Oh, was there? Because I didn't think there was much to amend here.
I don't have this written down, so if I get this wrong, I apologize, but they are still doing stuff like this.
Yeah, I was going to ask
there was recently a fish has been playing Pokemon, I want to say Sapphire, and found a glitch that nobody has found to this day.
That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
There was a fish just floating around a fishbowl, and depending on what sector the fishbowl he was in, it would hit a button, and the fish unintentionally found a glitch that nobody has discovered yet in Pokemon Sapphire.
What was the glitch? Do you remember?
No, I can look it up, though.
Okay.
No, it did fucking bosses. Dude, it made progress. How insane is that? That if that isn't just the monkey keyboard theory and fucking work, then it's just like, I don't know
that
what
fish
is.
rules.
I mean, trial and error.
I know you briefly mentioned some of the modded stuff before after they ran out of the rest of the mainline Pokemon franchise to do. But
that's mostly what they do now. Mostly the whole group effort stuff now mostly consists of modded versions of Pokemon, like either random gens or like versions that are just, I don't know, like just added things or all the items are here or some shit like that. Who knows?
I'd love to see fish play chess. Like two different fish.
Yeah.
Two different
like
bowls.
fish versus fish?
Yeah.
Fish on fish?
Fish on fish.
Yeah, one of the first things I saw after Twitch Plays Pokemon was Fish Play Street Fighter, where it was two fish.
That I was aware.
And then they fought each other.
Yeah, because it reminded me of Fish Center.
This is from Ethan Gatch at Kotaku from October 12th, 2020. A YouTuber's pet beta fish accidentally stumbled onto a glitch in Pokemon Sapphire. Lala, who belongs to Japanese YouTuber Marukimaru, was wandering around the Game Boy Advance's game's Seafloor Cavern when it made a discovery. The fish was pushing boulders around with the help of the HM strength ability for several minutes when eventually the boulders started to multiply when pushed. Moving in a specific pattern resets some of the rocks instead of moving them around, and you can create duplicates. This was later confirmed by the Pokemon modding community, who were able to recreate the glitch.
That had to have just broken the chat.
I know.
Be recorded out there somewhere.
The seafloor level, the fish discovered a fucking glitch.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh, that's so good.
There's your update.
All right. Well, bust out those visors, everyone, because up next is the Guy game. And before you ask, no, my copy has not come in yet, and that's because I.
But it is.
That's
coming.
because I never ordered it.
You did buy one.
I did not. That's why it's not here.
Did you not buy one because it's gross and exploitive of women, or because you don't have like $70?
It's the first one, but the second is like you're not like.
Well, he had to mention the second one. So.
It's mainly the first one, but also a little bit the second one.
The first one is one that would prevent me from buying it if I did have the money. Which I don't.
Well, how about this? Since I know you want it so much, how's your next birthday, right? I relieve myself of any responsibility because you just want it so much. So I know you want it. It's just sort of a gift.
Oh my God.
If I did have it, I would never play it.
How funny would that be if we all pitched in and bought Randy a copy of the Guy game?
And then made fun of him.
And then made fun of him on the podcast for owning it.
No, that's just a gift for you guys.
But then you have to sell it to get rid of the curse,
just
dude.
A gift that keeps
and
on
that's
giving.
even worse than owning it, is selling it.
It'd have to be sealed so you know that I never like...
No, it has to be unsealed so we know you play it all the time.
No. We're going to get elaborate with this. We'll basically have you open it in your sleep, fingerprints and all.
You're gonna tuck it in with me and then take a picture.
It's like that bedtime stories from Tim and Eric when they do the whole photo shoot while he's sleeping.
It's just Randy sleeping but sitting up holding an Xbox controller. And then behind him is a TV playing the game and it's just us giving thumbs up.
Weekend at Bernie's.
We take like dozens of photos of it with perfect lighting and like...
And then we'll say that's obviously a bit. Then you can sell it, and whoever you sell it to will do a special episode of Chris Hansen's Crime Watch, and we can get somebody on the tail end.
That topic though was probably like my personal favorite of mine this year, just because like it was just so dumb and kind of poetic in a way, is that it was the last
that's a good point.
episode.
What's my favorite topic that I covered this year? Sorry, continue.
No, I was gonna say this was our last episode where we were able to record together in person before
you think
the lockdown.
Maybe there's a reason for that. You think maybe?
I'm just saying, what a way to go out, right?
I just didn't want to be around you anymore with your weird perversion.
So this takes us to our first remote cast, Lady Pac-Man. Austin, I wasn't sure if there was much else that could have come up, although we also could talk a little bit more about the transition online here if you guys wanted.
Sure, yeah. There's no updates on Miss Pac-Man. It's still better than Pac-Man and was still created by Americans, and Japanese people still suck.
I mean, that's true. But Jason, what do you feel is the most like radical change in terms of like mixing or editing since this? Like, has it been easier, harder? The syncs at the beginning are always.
It's been a little better, honestly. In one way, just that I have more isolation, you know. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, less like basically. It actually gives me more freedom to cut things because before, if say someone was I don't know, like if Chris says something that, is underneath you guys in the wrong moment, I can completely cut him and it's fine. But I couldn't do that before because you'd still hear his voice in the background, saying something. Yeah. So it would be weird. Like, so I actually have more liberty, and I think I've been making more drastic cuts because of it. But, obviously not.
Is that why I've sounded so smart lately?
Maybe. Yeah,
no, we've been giving you smart pills in your breakfast bush.
Yeah, I've been slipping you Limitless pills in your vodka before each episode.
I was also about to make a Limitless fucking joke.
No, you're not that athletic.
After this was another bigger one, a thorough tale of something anyone that has probably ever listened to us is surely familiar with, Valve.
Who?
I learned a whole lot in this one, Chris. I don't know if there were further things you wanted to tack onto that.
The only thing
trilogy.
I really want to say about Valve is they've made apparently one of the best games that nobody can play this year.
Yeah.
There's a very interesting short interview with Jeff Keighley about his kind of history with Half-Life. It's called like The Last Minutes of Half-Life Alyx. I think you should check it out.
Yeah,
okay. It's really cool. It's really short. It's only like 5 minutes tops long, but it's very charming. Yeah. And it's pretty interesting. Nothing new with Valve. I do want to continue. Obviously, we're gonna have part 3 eventually, and we'll talk about the history of their VR.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Steam and all that stuff. So just keep your ear to the ground. Okay?
Yeah.
Put on your VR headset.
Yeah, it'll be a VR episode. You can only listen to it if you own an Index.
Oh, that's strictly the On Cinema VR episodes.
Well, now it's failure time again with SimCity 2013. Before I get into a recent report, though, with yet another hopeless movie venture, I heard you went back and played some more of this, Austin.
It's great. SimCity 2013, better than City Skylines.
I think you said that on the recording too.
I did.
You're wrong.
It's great.
I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit.
There's a well, I don't want to say polish. That's the wrong word. There's a design element to SimCity 2013 that I appreciate.
Yeah, I don't think polish is
streamlined.
The wrong word.
It's streamlined, and people keep shitting too much in my city.
Oh. you got a poop problem in your society?
Yeah, that's my only
poop
update.
Problems.
Where's it going?
They keep protesting all this shit.
But yeah, so shortly after we went live with this one, Legendary Pictures announced on April 29th, 2020, that a live-action interpretation of both SimCity and The Sims is now in the works. Although neither the production company nor EA has officially commented on it to confirm. The leak was from the GWW, which is a reputable movie and comic website, I am told. Of course, this kind of stuff happens constantly in that industry, so I ain't holding my breath anyway.
What if it starts off the trailer's like from the director of Monster Hunter, and it's just a Humvee driving down the street? Okay, that's how the Sims trailer starts.
Mila Jovovich
is it being driven by Mila Jovovich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just working your way backwards from military.
Honestly,
and then
though,
just a 50 cal tearing into a fucking suburban house.
Honestly,
just ripping its siding to shreds.
My favorite part of Monster Hunter World was the driving. So it makes a lot of sense.
We'll get this. No director or actors have been attached. There was a screenplay writer in the information they received who does not have an IMDb page. Apparently the one looking to be a, quote, comedic version of a Roland Emmerich-esque disaster movie.
I was about to say that. That sounds dope.
Inside of the world of SimCity.
That sounds great.
Yeah. I don't.
Well, I think they're having trouble because Hollywood. We don't want Hollywood to cast Scarlett Johansson in a Simless role, so we need to find.
Well, that would make if every line of dialogue in the movie was. I mean, these studio executives should know though that Roland Emmerich films they're already comedies. So
2012 is a very serious movie.
Yeah. And this will be a great segue into something else unnecessary but important for us and what we provide. Austin, it's Duke Nukem time. Is that his catchphrase?
Hold on.
Shit, yeah, pull it up.
Fuck.
You missed your shot.
Fuck. I downloaded iOS 12 and I moved all my apps around.
I can tell you that his catchphrase is not "It's Duke Nukem time."
Blow it out your ass.
There it is.
Hail to the king, baby.
So what's going on with all those goddamn lawsuits? Was this just a spat between old friends that strategically made its way public for slamming?
No.
Not that covers everything. But.
So, I mentioned on our year one update, and I believe I also mentioned on the Duke Nukem episode that we did, that the composer of the original Duke Nukem soundtrack
God, I forgot about that.
Was suing Gearbox because they bought the rights to Duke Nukem, but his music was actually not part of the rights. 3D Realms licensed the music from him, and 3D Realms never told Gearbox that they needed to license the music from him, so they just put the music in the game, and then he sued them, and then they settled it out of court. Our update now is that Gearbox is currently suing 3D Realms for not telling them that they needed to license the music. They're trying to get damages and legal fees covered for that previous lawsuit. And I have a quote here from good old Randy Pitchford and said, "We are literally in the middle. Either Bobby, the composer, his name's Bobby, is right and deserves to be paid, in which case 3D Realms is wrong, or 3D Realms is right and Bobby's wrong, and we don't know. So we need to bring a judge in and have a look at things from both sides. Nothing about Duke Nukem is about profit at this point. It's all about goodwill."
Classic Duke Nukem goodwill.
So...
yeah, I guess
that's our only update.
How that shapes out.
That lawsuit is still currently ongoing. I think the courts are a little backed up.
Why?
Right now. Well, all those evictions.
No, they froze that. Square Enix said that the home...
Nope, that's a game.
That the house is in front...
Real life is a nightmare.
I don't want to live there.
No. I want to live in Aerzeth? Is that the name of the world?
Yeah, Cyrodiil?
Nope.
I know when I came in earlier, I think you were saying that we must have already covered the results of that, the stuff going on previously in our year one recap.
I talked about the lawsuit being filed in the year one recap in relation to Randy Pitchford.
Yeah.
I talked about the lawsuit being settled, I believe, in the Duke Nukem episode, and now the countersuit has happened since then.
Got it. Okay.
Still ongoing.
This one's a little hard to keep track of. All right. Well, now you get to keep going, man, because it's the year of us talking about E3 and the year of no E3.
Yeah, which we covered on the episode, obviously.
We did, yeah.
This was the history of E3 one, which I honestly think that was my favorite one I did this year. Yeah. Apparently, the listeners disagree. But it's fine. I'll go fuck myself.
They're wrong. It's fine.
But yeah, E3 this year went off without a hitch. It's still going on, actually, because originally they were like, hey, we're going to split it up and everybody's going to get their own day to do their conferences. And then Ubisoft was like, well, we're going to do like 4. And then
Ubisoft Forward.
Everybody started their own Nintendo Direct. They're all bad at it, including Nintendo. And also the new consoles are coming out and we still don't know. That was the joke. They revealed the PS5. PS5 will be out by the time this comes out, but it is not out as of recording.
It'll just be out, I think. Yeah.
They revealed the PS5 UI, and Sony released a video of Sid Schumann like explaining the new features of the UI, and at the end of it, he just goes, "Now, we would get into like launching games or friends lists or trophies, but we don't have time for that today." And I was watching somebody react to it. They just go, "Why don't you have time? This is a VOD. What is your time limit?" Oh, it's so confusing.
They got to step down off that stage real quick.
Those people need to be reined in. And I think we talked about this, but I think that's why E3 needs to exist. And we don't know. I think E3 is planned for next year. We don't know what the state of the world will be by June.
I was going to bring that up because everything they did have lined up, or I guess have planned now, sounded pretty terrible. Though I don't know, it still makes me sad that if there isn't going to be a massive event like this for the world to all collectively pay attention to games, and where all those in the field get to be together at the same place and time, like, I don't know, it's enjoyable to follow and makes for interesting content and conversation. There's obviously a huge sense of spectacle about it to both love and hate, even if it's mostly hate lately.
I do know that they hired Jeff Keighley to come in and like revamp their presentation and stuff. So that Summer Games Fest thing wasn't great, but it was more well done than any of the game companies handled this shit.
I mean, I don't think that was his fault.
No, he did the Summer Games Fest thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. His reveals were actually like he did like one a day for like 2 months, and it was actually pretty cool. And then Ubisoft's just like, tune in this Sunday at like 1:45 p.m. and we're going to tell you more about Watch Dogs. And it's like, I hate it here.
I mean, EA's thing was lame too.
Oh, EA's thing was awful.
Yeah. But everybody reinforcing its obsoleteness does hurt. It does hurt smaller devs. Like,
it absolutely does.
Yeah. And there's still such a part of me that always like...
Shout out to...
that always kind of dreamed of attending it. Despite the offerings to the public... These past few shows being pretty bad.
Shout out to Kind of Funny, because they went through with their indie game showcase despite E3 being canceled. That was very cool of them to showcase some indie games, as well as PC Gamer went through with the PC Gaming show, which had a couple neat reveals.
I remember that. Yeah, I think we watched those streams.
And like, Sony's wild, man. Like, they're like, we're not doing E3 anymore. We got this. And then they put out a state of play, and it's like the worst thing ever. And then they're like, the PS5 is coming out and nobody gives a shit. What are you going to do? And then they put on like the best conference anybody's seen in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, here's the UI, the Burger King.
Yeah, that was that was not as well produced, which is funny because they're clearly taking a page out of Nintendo's book doing this.
But they're better at it than Nintendo. Like that first PS5 showcase was great.
There was a lot of games in there. Yeah.
It was like nonstop shit.
Yeah.
Even the second one was good. It was just in the context of being like, pre-order start tomorrow, and then they started like 10 minutes later, and they all sold out instantly. And
I mean, as far as shows go, at least there's still PAX, of course. I mean, there was anyway. I know we're all just getting closer and closer, never leaving the house again, and everyone handling these type of things online, which I clearly get, but I'm not ready to embrace that.
Yeah. I hope E3 continues in some form.
Yeah.
Or
we shall see.
Or if it doesn't, I hope all the companies get better at revealing their information.
I do see that there are dates for 2021. You think it's going to happen?
I think it'll happen for sure. Well, assuming that they can hold a press conference next June, hold a conference.
I mean, I feel like conventions are probably
the last thing to be reinstated.
Yeah. Well, yeah, along with concerts and sporting events that are of a specific scale and size.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll happen in some form again. If COVID is still going on, that's the death of E3. And if COVID's not going on, they better do something, because if not, E3 is going to die anyway.
Yeah. Microtransactions numero 3. Which section first? I'm not sure if I went in order before, but Chris and Jason, how goes ESO? Is our boy still sleeping on those bridges?
I've never found
I've tried to look for him several times.
I've never found him.
Did he blow up a little too much? And now it's like...
I don't know.
You know what's blowing up is me and Chris fucking playing little shows up in Vivek City, getting up on the post. Oh, honestly, that game is so. First of all, there's an emote just unlocked for everyone that's called "Wash Your Damn Hands," and it's like a hand washing emote. And the day that it came in, like I spawn in, and immediately people in the town are just going, "No excuses, wash your hands." It's just like I love the participation.
They got it right in there.
Yeah, like it's funny because like sometimes the zone chat can be like dreadfully political in the worst way, and I'm just like, I'm glad that it's at a max. I mean, that whole game is sort of progressive. Like it tackles like racism and sexism, and so it makes sense that it just seems like the writing team's on the progressive side. It makes sense that they would take that stance, but it's just cool seeing it.
No, it's good. And it sounds like they have a very supportive community of that. But wait, sorry, I forgot we were supposed to get political. I didn't. Right.
No politics, only video games.
Right.
Everybody knows that video games aren't political.
Yeah, Activision and Ubisoft told me so.
Yeah.
But, Cyberpunk is just a power fantasy. Yep. Told by a Facebook commenter.
Well, Cyberpunk.
Wait, really? What?
Yeah, Cyberpunk isn't political. It's just anti-consumerist, anti-capitalist, and anti-corporatist. That's all. That's not political stuff. It's not political stuff unless they shrink the size of the boobs.
Punk is a genre of music, Austin.
I can't completely stand by it with total faith after hearing the crunch story, though.
Yeah.
That was.
Punk is a completely apolitical genre of music too, which is.
I mean, they were the ones that previously and publicly announced that crunch was not going to be a.
I know. They should have just delayed it again.
I have conflicting feelings on that. On the one hand, crunch is awful. On the other hand, at least, and this is not an excuse, but at least they live in Poland and not America.
Right, where labor
and
laws might be different.
They do have profit sharing at CD Projekt Red.
Oh, so, do they? Okay.
My whole thing about crunch is that I wish crunch wasn't a thing, but capitalism kind of forces crunch to be a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't like crunch at all, but I especially don't like crunch when the employees that are being forced to crunch aren't seeing any benefit from giving in their extra time to make the product better. So at least there's some form of profit sharing there that incentivizes, if Cyberpunk sells better because it's a better game because they crunched, then at least they see some sharing of the profits from that. Not that that excuses it.
Everybody volunteered to crunch, and I'm like, how much of that is true?
Forced volunteer.
That's not true. Yeah, they did not force. They just kind of decided on it. They didn't really talk to anybody.
They're being paid double time as well, from what I heard.
Yeah,
that's good.
They live in Poland. The workers' protections in Poland are better than America, so it's not the same as the Last of Us crunch stuff. Even though, from what I hear, Naughty Dog still treats their employees a little bit better than some other devs that aren't getting the limelight. But to dig for a silver lining, at least they are getting paid, compensated.
Do you think if Cyberpunk didn't have so many set dates like that, were missed, that they would have been more comfortable pushing
probably
the launch back?
I don't really know. I don't really understand. Cyberpunk is weird because it's coming out for Xbox One and PS4 a week after the two new consoles come out, and then the next gen version is delayed until next year. Just delay the whole game until next year. Like, why? You're
instead of having this weird dual launch.
I know people are looking forward to Cyberpunk, and if they delayed it, I am too. If they delayed it again, people would get mad. But you have shit to play. There's new consoles coming out. There's 8 Ubisoft games coming out in 2 weeks. Just calm down and let those workers.
Is it really consumers pushing that? Is there not? They're self-publishing, right?
Yes, they're self-publishing.
So
it's not consumers pushing it.
It's a less crowded market this season than usual.
It's not. It's not consumers pushing it necessarily.
Might really want to take advantage of that.
But there would be backlash, which I think they are trying to avoid.
I'm sure there was backlash to the first few.
There was. But at the same time, video games are expensive and they take a long time to make, and it's simply pushing it back is probably a decision where they're like, we need to ship this game. We need to see some profit from it because it's been in the works since 2015 when The Witcher came out, So can't go 5 years without a big release.
We'll keep an eye on that. And I mean, I'm sure we'll, when it comes time, we're probably all going to talk about that game on here quite a bit. So there's not much for me to say about Limbo the Lost, really. It's still lost, as it should be. I haven't been able to locate a copy since. Austin,
Foot Champions.
Yeah, I guarantee I already know the answer to this, but is FIFA still crooked?
Yeah. FIFA, the organization?
No,
absolutely. The most crooked.
Yeah. But it's just even with the bullshit from before that you explained, I was reading just last week about that new the Switch entry, and holy fuck.
Oh yeah, the Switch thing.
That's just shameful.
They just keep porting the same game and updating the rosters. It's a nightmare. But yeah, FIFA 21 came out. Still got FIFA Ultimate Team in it. I haven't checked.
There's Discord's a light.
I haven't checked in with the FIFA community, but I'm sure that Discord doesn't exist anymore, and I'm sure I'm sure EA didn't do fucking jack shit to fix any of this because they're EA. So
yeah. And be on the lookout, everyone, for our fourth microtransactions coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon.
December, I believe. So stay frosty. This next one is going to be hard. Our insane StarCraft True Crime series with Chris Nudeboom returning back into the studio with us. Honestly, I may just have to get up with him in order to do this revisit justice, as nobody is more researched on the topic than him, which would explain the depths we dove to fully deliver all of that information as well. So I think you, Chris, called it the Irishman of podcasts at the end.
That sounds right.
Except this story was way more interesting. So burn Scorsese.
Oh yeah, the Irishman sucks.
Yeah.
You guys, because it's audio, we digitally altered Chris Newboom's voice, so he was.
Yeah, so he sounded younger. Yeah.
Exactly.
Our Virtual Boy episode is next. I love me some ambitious product bombs, so this was another one I was super into. If only I could acquire a VB unit of my own. Hey, it'd be cheaper than a Vive. But yeah, was there anything new for this one? Probably not.
No.
Yeah, I don't think the likes of this thing is ever coming back. There is that Switch cardboard thing, though, so I guess that's not entirely accurate.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up about Virtual Boy that didn't make it into the episode. Is that Luigi's Mansion 3 has its entire UI built around it.
Oh, right. You were telling me that. Yeah, because they had the Game Boy Horror in the first one.
That's the only time I've seen it in recent times, pretty much.
I forget what it was in the second, but that's cute, though, that they still.
It's all black and red and dreary.
And that Castlemania Games company where I got my GCHD from, I just saw the other day that they began selling a video out mod for the Virtual Boy. For it to like show up on a TV in fashion.
Yes, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the PSVR does.
So two things
I guess it does have its fans
that aren't new. However, we did forget to bring up. Virtual Boy emulation does exist on VR.
Wait, really?
Yes, you can emulate Virtual Boy and play it in the Oculus Quest and stuff like that.
Cool. It sounds like such a headache, though.
And now you can also output the video of Virtual Boy. So I have seen some people streaming like the Wario Land game and stuff.
Oh my! Yeah. I need to look that up.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't do that back in the day. You couldn't hook it up to a TV back in the day.
No, God no.
Because I just
that was part of the issue with it. That
just go back in time. You're like, this is the one invention that's going to blow your mind. Put a Virtual Boy into
it was hard to turn it into like a social activity because of nobody having any visual like representation of what the person wearing it was actually seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But all this is more than I can say about the N-Gage. I was quite happy finally getting around to this one. Of course, while listening to the recording after, I probably should have talked about my experience with the actual games a little more, but
That episode made me happy. I never got one. I was always jealous of the people that had it, but apparently it was a headache.
I'll sell you one. No, I'll just give it to you.
I got a PSP, thanks. PSPs weren't around back then. That's what helped me learn my lesson.
But, I do have a small...
Yeah, I was gonna say, Austin. I completely skipped over your Prey story. So
we'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
it's fine.
Correction.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing about N-Gage because I've talked about this before on the podcast. I should probably do this differently, where we always talk about these games and then I go and play them. I should play them before we do the episode so I can talk about them, but I never do that.
Oh, we try and do it sometimes.
Sometimes I do that, but after the N-Gage episode, I found it because I bookmarked it for this exact fucking reason.
Okay.
I looked up like N-Gage emulators. And I found a post from the beginning of this year from reddit.com/r/N-Gage where someone says, "Hey everyone, I was wondering if there's an N-Gage emulator for Android. I've been nostalgic these days about the old Nokia days. I miss those awesome games." And then the only comment says, "Short answer no, long answer nope."
So also awesome games.
All right.
How's Prey doing?
Switching back.
Yeah, what's 3D Realms up to these days?
3D Realms is currently being sued by Randy Pitchford. The only update I have about Prey is that the studio that made Prey is helping work on Deathloop.
Oh.
So
really? All right.
That game looks better than Prey. And also, Microsoft bought Bethesda, which I'm sure we've talked about before.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier.
We mentioned it earlier. But yeah, so Microsoft now owns Prey, so maybe they can do something about that. Bring the old Prey to Game Pass. That's my plea.
Do it. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what else I realized talking about the featured music in this game before? It really made me sound like I'm still a pop punk kid. And I'm not okay with that. My tastes have gotten way better.
No, they haven't.
So we are getting a bit up to date now as we approach the final few that will bring us to today. Acclaim, which we do plan on completing that trilogy with THQ and Midway sometime early next year. Our first Halloween story from 2020, the one I can't pronounce. That was a trip.
Kamikushiki Village.
Kamikushiki?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a major thing that I accidentally left out of the Devotion episode. I've been kicking myself since it came out because I totally drew attention to something early on in the script and then just blanked on it when it came time down the line to like bring it back around. The Detention movie I mentioned. Lots of cinema coming up on today's recap, apparently. But yeah, the one based off Red Candle's title before Devotion that by all accounts was said to be exceptionally good when it released across Taiwan and Hong Kong in 2019. Well, around when the company was silent and their hashtags were being blocked, this film was also banned from mainland China, along with, Devotion. But kind of expected, but I still had to correct that. It's funny because I literally did the same thing last year in the Resident Evil episode where I fucked up one thing like right after it was over, and then I had to bounce back to it on the recap weeks later. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, you forgot to mention Resident Evil 8 got announced.
Oh, no, I did it. I think I did.
I must have missed that.
Well, I didn't. Not today, but I.
Oh yeah, that's an update to Resident Evil. Resident Evil 8 got announced.
Hey, hell yeah, it did. I'm excited. I can't wait. It's going werewolves and the weird Victorian booby ladies and.
What you buying?
Yeah, and the rumor has it that our favorite traveling salesman is back.
Yes,
the merchant.
So.
That's going to be real fucking cool.
That brings us up to the most recent episodes released as of this recording.
Yeah, our last two spooky, scary stories that were both you, Austin.
Yeah. Pale Luna and Kill Switch.
Uncharacteristic for you and the show, but I'm real happy with how those turned out.
Yeah,
I want everyone to hear it. Yeah, like.
I'm going to curse myself saying this, but I doubt there will be any Pale Luna or Kill Switch updates before this episode comes out. But those were really fun to do. Randy's always doing all the murder stories, and I wanted to do one, so I did two. So suck it.
They were perfect for the season. I'm glad we all managed to keep our October month so stacked again.
Yeah.
Which, sorry, Jason, I know that we did. I guess I should say we switched back to weekly.
It wasn't bad. They kind of they came out to like a half hour each.
Yeah.
So I actually haven't edited Kill Switch just yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only one more.
Yeah.
No, it's about the same time. It was easy.
Last but not least was the final chapter in our line of Xbox development tales. Well, no, I guess I shouldn't say that. There could very well be more of those in the future. Mm-hmm. This one was also a bit different for us as we chose to record it and then hold on to it for a while to
honestly,
coincide with the Series X launch.
This hasn't been released as of this recording, the Xbox episode. We're going to, like you said, coincide with the launch of the Series X and S. But
yeah, once we have access to
that might be my favorite year 2 episode I did. I'm very proud of that Xbox One episode.
Cool.
I think it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Your whole Xbox series is really good. The original Xbox is probably one of my favorite episodes.
And it's funny with this because there are like so many cold opens of us like bitching about new hardware and how they like, and which I know will sound strange down the road without the early context of the days leading up to these soon to be released consoles. But now we can say it's there for posterity.
Yes. And then we should mention that in the episode, which was recorded in September of 2020, recorded a little bit early, we talk a lot about how we don't know the release date. And we don't know the price, and we don't know the launch lineup and all that stuff.
Now we do.
We now do. It is going to be $4.99 and is going to be coming out November 10th, which is how we now know when to release.
2 days before the PS5.
Yes, release this episode. And I hope that it's out now if you're listening to this, so I hope you enjoyed it. What we're going to do is this episode is being recorded in the end of October, near the end of October. I currently have an Xbox Series X pre-ordered on Randy's behalf.
And an S.
And an
Not
S.
on my behalf.
And an S for me.
Which is cool. We get to look at both.
Yeah. So we will have experience with both of those consoles by the time this episode comes out. So what we're going to do...
The speaker in the fridge.
I'm going to ask that we're going to leave a little bit of an audio break right around here. And Jason is going to edit in our thoughts, which we will record after we have played the consoles. We'll have more thoughts on what the future of the Xbox is, I guess. So
right here.
Inserting now.
So I'd like to point out before we start that I personally was lucky enough to have access to an Xbox Series X thanks to a roommate winning a Taco Bell contest through the purchase of a single pink lemonade at 2 a.m. And they not only shipped it to him with 6 months of Game Pass, but also we received it a day early, which was kind of gnarly.
Which then led to me owning a Series X, because originally
Yes.
I bought a PlayStation 5 for myself and a Series X for Randy, so we would each have one.
I still appreciate
And then
the work you did.
Randy, being the asshole that he is, got it a day early and decided, you know what, maybe I don't need this anymore since it's already in my house.
Well, the person that I bring up was not intending on buying one before, so now it would have been silly if I continued through with it and then we just had 2 next to each other since we share the same gaming space.
Me being the addict that I am, instead of returning it, I kept it.
Yes.
So you're an enabler.
You have a Series S as well.
I do have a Series S as well. It is still in the box and it's being shipped back to Microsoft this week.
And the second PlayStation 5
will be here this week for you.
For me, yes.
It's been a rough launch for both of these things.
Yeah, they're coming in hot, as a lot of people we follow in the industry have said. So, I guess where to start would be the packaging. It looks very nice in there, much more than the PlayStation 5.
Yes, the PlayStation 5 has eco-friendly packaging. It looks like what's a good electronic? It's like it looks like the packaging that the Roomba came in when my roommate bought a Roomba.
I don't know what this looks like.
And also the PlayStation 5 kind of looks like a fucked up Roomba. So it works out.
It works out. Both consoles very heavy.
Yes, both clocking in a little over 10 pounds.
Yeah, the Series X kind of feels like dark matter. Like it's so dense, you just pull out this cube,
that the part in Futurama.
When they're trying to throw the
Nibblers
turds
poops. It feels like that. It feels like how I imagine that felt. You know how they couldn't lift it at all? It's like that.
And then comes with all the cables inside. I like that new controller. So they've been making those for a little while. The ones with the new D-pad.
Yes.
The new and improved. It kind of looks
clicky D-pad.
Yes, which I like a lot. But it also has the it's like the directional thing, but it's concave.
And it has a share button so that you can share all your favorite screenshots and clips.
It does. And I didn't notice till you pointed out that the controller's actually a little bit smaller.
Yes, which I instantly noticed.
I did not. It's covered in grippies. All the cables are in. Well, it did not come with a USB-C cable.
No, because the controllers have batteries.
Right. All right. Yeah, you did point that out.
So
get into the boot up, like the.
Well, we don't have to go through the whole setup process.
You install it through like a phone app.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about.
Well, I mean that will kind of segue into things like the cloud save things. Like it's seamless. Like
I want to talk about PlayStation's approach and Xbox's approach, because that's kind of where we left off.
Okay.
Because this is supposed to be a recap. That's kind of where we left off with the Xbox One episode.
Yeah. I think me and you were talking about it earlier today, and you were saying how it's like, you said that there's a sense of unity among Xbox products. Like there's this complete shared ecosystem.
The overall summary is that opening and hooking up my PlayStation 5 felt like opening and hooking up my Xbox 360 when I got that. It was very exciting because it's all new.
Yeah.
The controller's new.
And boy, that controller, we could talk about that controller all day.
The games are all relatively new. Hooking up the Xbox Series X
the games
can
get a little confusing.
Felt like hooking up and opening my Xbox One X. Where it was just like, this is cool. I now have a powerful console. When Cyberpunk comes out, I know what I'm going to buy it on.
Yeah.
Because this is the most powerful console on the market. But it's just the Xbox One X. The interface is the same. The controller is relatively the same. Game Pass is the same, except they added EA Play to it. And
I'd say that their biggest new feature is Quick Resume. Yeah.
Which is...
When it works, awesome.
When it works, awesome, but it seems a little buggy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's entirely their fault.
No.
I think the way that some service games work and connection to servers can make that stuff tough to juggle.
So to go back to the conversation we were having on the Xbox One episode, which I don't know how I remember this because we recorded that in like September. But like, I think I predicted that PlayStation would have the advantage simply because of how new everything felt. Mm-hmm. And I still believe that to be true.
Yeah.
Although I have not played the Series X a lot. To put it in perspective, we are now 4 days out. Right? Yeah, 4 days out from the launch of the PlayStation 5. I have beaten Astro's Playroom. I have beaten Call of Duty. I have beaten Spider-Man. And I have almost beaten Bugsnax. So I've been playing a lot of PlayStation and not a whole ton of Series X.
I probably have more experience with the Series X, but that's by the nature of our household not yet having a PS5 as well.
But I have been... Mostly Call of Duty, but I have been fighting against that PlayStation.
You were telling me about some of this shit.
Call of Duty crashed like 10 times. It hard locked my PlayStation 5 like 2 times.
That's wild.
The audio just completely cut out on my entire TV at one point because I had to reboot the PlayStation.
Was it just Call of Duty that was giving you trouble?
I had a couple of issues where it wouldn't launch Spider-Man when I installed it. I had to reboot the console then.
Okay.
Finding features that I knew where they were on the PlayStation 4 has been fun on the PlayStation 5 because everything's been moved.
Is that fun? That scavenger hunt?
It's fun. A lot of fun. And I also spent a good 3 hours. Randy just saw this upstairs. Mm-hmm. I spent a good 3 hours reorganizing my entire entertainment center to fit those fucking things. Because the PlayStation 5 is a behemoth.
Yeah. That stand is so dumb.
Wait, you don't have a slot in your entertainment center that's shaped like Cell's head from Dragon Ball Z?
I do now.
They are whisper quiet.
They are very quiet.
All the rumors about heat and of things catching fire is not true.
I played
obviously.
it. I played the Series X for probably like a good 4 hours at one point, but I played the PlayStation for like 10 hours straight. No overheating.
Yeah.
No loudening. So...
The loudening.
The loudening. But
yeah, their approach has been much more consumer friendly.
I mean, it's the same interface, which is the same interface is good because I've had no issues. It's the same interface. Yeah. It's the one they have been iterating on and working on for years, since 2013, so 7 years. The PlayStation 1 is coming in hot, and it is brand spanking new, and it shows.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it, and it's like...
I mean, 3 new consoles came out in the last week, and they haven't had the same impact in terms of it feeling like an event. But all of those boxes are meticulously designed. Like,
yes, they're very cool.
Yeah, they are marvels of engineering when functioning as advertised.
I mean, that's the thing. You want to talk about engineering, that the Series X is absolutely a marvel of engineering. The PlayStation 5 is like a clown car of engineering. Basically... For those of you that don't know,
I'm just talking about the controller.
Well, yes, but so the PlayStation 5
that is why they're leading.
Was developed first. Then the Series X was developed, and then when the Series X was announced first, and they showed the hardware off. Sony was like, "Oh, fuck." So then they overclocked the shit out of it, and then they're cooling it with a giant heat sink and liquid metal, which is an expensive alternative to thermal compound, which sounds and looks very cool, but is not cheap.
I disagree. It does not sound cool or look cool. I only think about just absolute terror when I think about it.
Think about it this way: if you were to tear down an Xbox Series X, it would look like somebody spit some used gum on the CPU.
And if you were to shoot a PlayStation 5, it would heal itself. Like,
exactly.
Like
I was going to say,
T1000.
If you were to tear down a PlayStation 5 and take the heatsink off, it would look like a T1000 died inside of your console. That's exactly what it looks like. But yeah,
if you were walking with the PlayStation 5 and you dropped it and roses fell, but you had a shotgun and you're in an elevator, and you know what I mean. Reference.
I love reference. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. So the one thing I'll say is that my roommate that got the Series X, we didn't actually have. Well, no, I had Watch Dogs, which is a cross-gen game. Because the way that they have branded, my actual opinions of that game aside, the way that they have branded those boxes is very weird.
Sorry. Orgov.
Yeah, you got to pitch it like all over the place.
Real quick about Watch Dogs.
That game takes place in London, but everyone's got like a Cockney accent that they have to pitch up and down to randomly assign to all of the NPCs.
There's like 5 voice actors, and they just digitally, very poorly pitch shifted everybody's voice. And Randy recruited a guy, and he was
who looks like our age. Yeah.
He's like, what is happening?
What?
Like, it was pitch shifted down so low that you're like, that's not a human voice. Like, deeper human voices have more characteristic to it.
So they're procedurally generating audio now? That's what Fallout 4 needed. I don't care how bad it sounded.
It's very distracting in a game like Watch Dogs that's trying to achieve some level of realism. But also, it's like, you would think that, like, London is like the least diverse city on the planet with the amount of just everybody sounding.
All right, now that we're talking about Watch Dogs, real quick, one more thing to say. If you have a fascist regime rising in your country, you can't recruit everyone.
You can recruit cops in that game.
Fascism needs support to rise. If everybody is against fascism, then fascism doesn't rise.
Whoa, you're telling me Hitler was elected?
Yes. That's how it works.
Stalin was elected?
Yeah, kind of.
Well,
Stalin wasn't a fascist.
Yeah, he was an authoritarian, quote-unquote, communist.
You're telling me Trump was... No, but who else? Then who else was I thinking of? Maybe it wasn't Stalin.
Bolsonaro.
Yeah.
Mussolini.
That's actually who I meant. Back to the consoles. That game is totally all over the place. And
Back to the
huge
identity
with the
crisis.
Console. Watch Dogs Legion. No, so I was going to say, PlayStation has handled it with, this is a PS4 game, this is a PS5 game. The boxes reflect that.
Yeah.
And even though there's games like Little Big Planet and Spider-Man that have PS4 and PS5 versions, they are two different. Like, the way that Xbox has handled it, they're two different SKUs is what I meant. The way that Xbox is doing it right now is that all of their boxes now just say Xbox. Like, they are closer and closer to just the words after Xbox and before it don't matter.
Yes.
So it's like Watch Dogs is one box out there right now. If you want to play it on your base Xbox One from 7 years ago, on your Xbox One X from, when the hell did that come out? 3 years ago, and your Xbox Series S and X. And so it was kind of neat seeing things back to back, going from my One X to the new Series X. And the Series X stuff, games do run a lot better. They look a lot sharper. I know one of the first things we tried was Gears 5, and that runs at a smooth 60 and 4K and stuff like that. That Water and Sea of Thieves looks pretty good. I think you shot.
What game was that? I never heard of that one game. It's like a fifth installment of a game I've never heard of?
No, that's actually the first. And,
okay.
They call it Gears 5 because there's 5 Gears.
5.
No, there's 5 gears, and you have to reunite them all and to get the machine to work. And then I lost sight of this bit. It's
Gears of War fact. They're called Gears because they're a part of the COG. The Coalition of Ordered Governments.
And the company is called the Coalition.
The COG is a gear.
But a COG is a gear.
Yeah, but they're all part of the machine, man.
But what is it?
I did make that up, just so you know. That is actually the lore of Gears of War.
No, yeah.
They're not on Earth.
No, actually, I do hold you personally responsible for the Gears of War writing.
I will take personal responsibility. I would rather go down in flames than let Cliffy B get any credit for any of that.
All right, but if I found out that name change was you, I'm still going to flip this table.
Rod Ferguson emailed me and was like, "Yo, what do you think? Gears of War 5 or Gears 5?" And I was like, "Which one will piss Randy off more?"
War 5.
No, War 6.
Yeah, just that's what the next one. It's going to be Fast and Furious naming
and then it's Gears and War 7.
G6.
No, it's G9.
But you installed Shadow of the Tomb Raider Final Fantasy 15. They still have modes that allow you to bounce between prioritizing performance 15, or fidelity.
Final Fantasy 15 ran like absolute garbage on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And also ran like worse garbage on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And ran like kind of garbage on the Xbox One X. Yeah. And ran like pretty much
what it's
total garbage on the PlayStation 4 Pro. And then I was like, hold up, this is on Game Pass. Let me just see. So we downloaded it, booted it up. Buttery smooth 60.
Yeah. It's very nice. Which is
like
Tomb Raider as well.
Almost to a point where it's like
disorienting.
You're like, why did you release these on this other console? It seems like they should have been made on this console.
Those new Resis, we messed around with 2 and 7. It's I guess like my review kind of is that there's going to be some diminishing returns on this stuff because the jump this generation is not as significant.
Right.
But both of these, well, I guess I haven't been able to play around with the Series S, but the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are technically more powerful than any computer that could be built for $500.
Oh, for sure. They're in terms of price, they're a steal.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like they fucked up because the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, we were talking about this when we were hooking them up.
And obviously patches still have to happen on some stuff.
Sure.
And,
they were underpowered compared to computers within 6 months. It's going to take a good, I would say, probably 3 years to be able to build a computer for $500 that is equal in power. Maybe 2 years. Maybe I'm overestimating a little bit, but these things they're no slouches.
Yeah. I will say Game Pass is still great.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing, we messed around with, downloaded Tetris and we're playing Halo and that stuff. And I guess the last thing we should probably bring up before we close this out is storage space is going to be a problem this generation.
Uh-huh.
Feels like. What did the back of the Call of Duty box say that I just read?
280 gigabytes?
I think it was like 285 gigs.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Which is a misprint.
Yeah.
I have the whole game installed and it's 144 gigs, which is still a lot.
Unless they were trying to future-proof that their boxes for DLC and updates, but...
You're looking at, after OS install and everything, you're looking at around 800 gigs on the Series X, 600 gigs on the... 660 on the PS5 because it has an 850 gigabyte hard drive for some stupid reason. And then like 300 something gigs on the Series S.
And currently, because of these custom SSDs, Microsoft has their own proprietary like memory cards that are very hard to get right now and very expensive.
And Sony has
they look really cool
M2 slot that doesn't work yet.
Yes.
because SSDs that fast don't exist yet on the market, which is fun. So those will probably be pretty cheap, I imagine, to expand the PlayStation. I imagine it's probably gonna be like what, $50?
It's
$300 for like. It'll be like $300 for like 250
It's funny because
gigabytes.
most people I know, the first thing they did with these consoles was just download whatever or transfer their stuff over. I mean, granted, so it's like you fill that stuff up so fast. Like Call of Duty is like a third of the console.
Yeah, it's fun too because it turns out that when you have a terabyte PlayStation Pro, and then you go to and it's almost full, and you go to transfer everything over to a console with an 850 gigabyte hard drive, it doesn't work because there's less space.
Sony is still also figuring out their save transferring stuff. That could be it's a little wonky.
You have to have PlayStation Plus to use the cloud.
But do you have to do it for individual games or no?
Yes. They have auto upload, but it doesn't really work, and you have to you have to go onto the other console and download it.
The Microsoft stuff took seconds.
They also have remote play now, where you can theoretically set your PlayStation 4 instead of trading it in, set your PlayStation 4 up in another room and then remote play your PlayStation 5.
Weird. At least everything loads hella fast.
Yes.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Seeing you go right into the open world in Spider-Man was pretty
that was
amazing,
that was
honestly.
My next gen experience, was that like Spider-Man's fun game. I know Chris has been I don't know where you are at, but you've been playing the original.
I think about like 40% in right now.
Yeah.
I stopped to finish Horizon.
Oh, okay. Both great games. Miles Morales is very good, by the way. But so they have the subway in that game is your fast travel. and they have like subway stations marked. You can pick a subway station and hit it, and you'll fast travel. And I was so used to last gen where it's like the swinging in Spider-Man's fun, right? So like I don't really need to use the subway because like it's going to take me 2 minutes to swing across the city, or it's going to take the game a minute to load the subway. Why not just swing? And then I realized, wait a minute, it doesn't take the game a minute to load the fast travel. It takes the game like 2.5 seconds to load the fast travel. So
that's pretty cool.
It is like instantaneous in a way that is sort of creepy. Like Astrobot's the same way, where you're just like, oh, I gotta walk all the way back there, and you're like, wait, no, I don't. And then you just hit it, and it just goes whoop, and you're instantly. Demon Souls is the same thing. Yeah, it's like teleporting. The old Souls games, it's just like Dark Souls. All right, I'll go from this bonfire to this bonfire, and I'll wait 2 minutes, and now it's just like, zip, zip, you're there. It's like
we'll probably wait for another time to actually talk about the game specifically.
We'll do that. If you want to hear about our experience with Call of Duty and Spider-Man and Astrobot and all that,
it'll probably be on our
probably the Game Awards one. Stuff, we'll probably go down the list
because
of our games.
If it goes without saying, like as much as we were criticizing some aspects of the PlayStation 5, Austin is right, is that it is more exciting and it has the software to back it up.
Yes,
right now in a way that
I've been shitting on the PlayStation 5 because we're technically updating the Xbox One episode. The PlayStation 5 is very cool. I am very happy with that thing. The Series X is, so to go back to the topic at hand, and then we'll wrap it up because we're getting a little long in the tooth.
Sorry, and I hope to see the like as time goes on, more games and exclusive stuff.
But the Series X is very cool, but in a different way.
Yeah, it's very efficient.
And to go back to the topic at hand, Microsoft was in second place when it came to last generation. Clearly, PlayStation was ahead. Microsoft was behind.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stick with...
gamers were in third place.
No, gamers are in like 10th, dude. Gamers are below Stadia. That's how you know it's bad.
Oh no.
Yeah. Me and Randy also tried Amazon Luna. We'll talk about that more on the Game Awards episode, maybe.
No.
It's bad. Yeah. There you go. There's your review.
Boom.
But it's very cool, and it is probably the most consumer-friendly approach that I've seen anybody in the games industry take in decades. It's wild.
Yeah.
How friendly the Xbox ecosystem has become.
The backwards compatibility, which is another thing that the PlayStation 5 has not really fully fleshed out yet.
But when you're in second place and somebody's like, well, what do you want to do to get in first place? And you're like, what if we did the exact same thing, but a little bit better? I hate saying that. You could put your copy of Fusion Frenzy right in there. I know I can. You have my copy of Fusion Frenzy.
I do.
He's hoarding it. I keep telling him to bring it over, and he won't.
I'm saving it for our, once COVID's defeated, our big party.
That's true. I'll make sure to get a copy of Fusion Frenzy 2 by then.
Oh, okay.
We're very anti-capitalist on this podcast.
No.
And I hate to be the one to say this, but maybe being consumer-friendly is not the best business strategy. So it pains me to say.
So sad.
I know. It pains me to say it, but I think Sony's got the upper hand here.
By being like, you want to play Demon Souls? Buy this fucking...
Yeah, you want to play Demon Souls? Instead of playing the PS3 version of Demon Souls sitting in your shelves, buy a $70 version of Demon Souls again. And everybody's like, fuck yeah, dude. It loads so fast. But yeah, I hope Xbox does well.
Me too. I think
the Series X is insanely cool. I just think it's less exciting.
Despite the fact that nobody can find any of these things, claims are that they're selling well. Yeah. People care.
No numbers were released, but they did say that the Xbox Series S and X combined is the most consoles Xbox has ever sold on launch day.
Yes, I did see that.
Which makes a lot of sense because nobody wanted an Xbox when it came out. Xbox 360 was impossible to find, and nobody gave a shit about the Xbox One. So
all right,
it would stand to order even if they made a couple million of these things, they would sell well.
Yeah.
And
we'll I think that kind of concludes our Xbox talk, but we'll probably dive more into the PlayStation again as well. That controller is like indescribable unless you are actually holding it.
It is
like there's no way to convey
it is insane. Here's my review of the PlayStation 5 controller, Astrobot notwithstanding, because that you have to fully review the PlayStation 5 controller, I got to review Astrobot. We'll do that on the Game Awards episode.
Yeah.
But doing a stealth section in a video game and having them play your heartbeat
that kind of
through the speakers is one thing. But feeling an actual heartbeat where the left chambers of the heart beat on your left hand and then the right chambers of the heart beat on your right hand a split second later is something that you have to feel to like fully understand.
Actually, the rain killed me where it actually felt like being pelted with little raindrops. That shit was wild.
But yeah.
And I will say, though, the last thing is between I know I've said that like 3 times now, but having now seen them both in action back to back, if this is a power war, technically the Series X is more powerful.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, like if you're an
insane person like me,
you looking for games,
you buy both. What you do is you buy all Sony's games that they hold hostage on the PlayStation 5, and then you buy all the third-party games on the Series X. If you're a normal person, don't upgrade at all. Because it's not really... I mean, worth is a thing that...
Hey, I'm just glad that you're crazy and that my roommate was thirsty, because it's going to lead to me getting...
Thirsty for lemonade, not like the sex thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Although probably that too. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're getting along.
All right, sorry.
Back to your regularly scheduled episode, wherever this gets edited, and I don't know.
Oh yeah. So that is it, everyone. This takes us to our 2nd anniversary right now. Thank you to all of you that listen in. Sincerely, those of you that rated, left reviews, subscribed, shared, talked to any of us about it outside the show. Thank you to our special guests. Thank you, Jason, for everything that you continue to do for us unpaid in the middle of an epidemic.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, me.
Yeah.
Hell, thank you, Discord.
Yes, thank you, Discord. Thank God for Discord.
But before we go, what do you guys say we try and give a tiny sneak preview of what might be to come soon? Something that people can maybe look forward to in 2021, because we have plans.
Well, first of all, let's say that we talked a lot in 2020 about starting video.
Yeah, which...
COVID obviously got in the way of that.
Fucked up. It will happen.
It will happen eventually.
We've already come so far with it.
We're trying to figure out some ways to still incorporate that around the virus. That will probably happen. I don't want to make too many promises. It'll either never happen or it'll happen in 2021.
But there's some side features, though, that we had.
Yes.
We're kind of looking to maybe get into like stories of those that who sort of work in games. And Austin, I don't know if you were saying like instead of like kind of reaching out to guests that aren't just people we know and and like kind of...
We're obviously nerds who study the video game industry way more than we should, and we know a lot about it, but we don't have any experience working in it, and we're looking to sort of get that viewpoint and maybe either help people tell some stories that wouldn't normally be told, or
might give way deeper
insight on some stories that we want to tell. So if you are if this is a call for any of you that would maybe want to participate in that kind of thing, like developers, bloggers, artists, writers, reviewers, anything tied to games, really, I guess send us an email at what's our email? hotbuttonpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Hit us up. You can also DM the Hot Button Twitter or DM in any of us individually on Twitter, which our things are linked in the Hot Button thing. So just DM Hot Button.
Yeah. And we're still working out how to, the details on recording safely and remotely. But even if you don't have all of the materials that we do, we can make it work.
Yeah. And also, like we said, we want to get back into movie commentaries as well. But that's a little harder to do. But we might try something with that new bot we found and Discord movie watching or something in place of actually doing it in person, because we still can't do that.
And we'll still decide on a release schedule and kind of who's going to be involved in what. Like some of these might be a little smaller, just won't have all of this kind of on them. But
it
could be really, really neat.
But yeah, I think that's everything.
I think that's it for now.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Weird first episode. if it is your first episode.
I assume probably not.
But if you haven't heard all the episodes and decided to listen to this one, we just gave you a whole bunch of shit to topics that you could be interested in.
I think our recap was 50 last year, so now it'll
be like 80 something.
85?
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah, we got 80 plus episodes.
Or no, it might be 85.
You're sitting there playing your new Xbox Series X or figuring out how to fit your PlayStation into your living room without drilling or cutting a hole out of the ceiling. You can go to hotbuttoncast.com. You can listen to all of our episodes. We have search. We have a new collections tab, which I don't know if I brought up on the episodes yet.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. You did.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Hey, say it again.
Yeah, but we got curated collections there. We got a Halloween collection. We got our government collection, the ESRB and the violent video game stuff. We got all our console stories on there. And we'll be adding to that if we curate collections. That was one thing we talked about, which I don't know if we want to do. But
what's that?
The collection of like our favorite personal episodes or something.
Oh, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah. But yeah, that website has all that stuff and more. There's also a submit a topic. If there's a topic you'd like us to cover that we just haven't gotten around to yet, it might be in the plan and it might not. So send us.
Yeah.
Go to our website, submit a topic. That'll email your topic suggestion directly to us. And also subscribe, follow, whatever it's called on all of our all the podcast feeds, Spotify, whatever. I don't know. We're on all of them. So just pick one and find Hot Button and subscribe. And if you like it, review on iTunes, tell your friends about it, spread by word of mouth. That's the best advertising we could ask for. And also follow our socials, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Hot Button Cast.
Yeah, I know we're revamping that site to have kind of more direct links to us. And
yes.
Yeah. If you're an advertiser, reach.
Yeah. If you want us to sell out, I'll do it immediately without question. I will shill for literally anybody except for
the military contractor.
Yeah. If you're like the U.S. Army,
they got
you
Twitch. They're
yourself.
fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Especially, I just want to hammer home, especially thank you for listening, because we started this podcast. This is all off the cuff. I don't have this written, so if it sounds stupid, I apologize. But we started this podcast 2 years ago with the intention of just doing it to talk about video games, because me and Randy talk about video games constantly. And then we met Chris and Jason, started talking about video games even more. And we realized that we were decent at telling video game stories, and we've heard a lot of feedback that that's true, and that means the world.
And now several thousand people apparently.
I don't know from who. Fucking liars.
we wouldn't continue to do this if everybody told us it was awful and that we should stop, but we've gotten a lot of positive feedback.
I would.
That was your review?
We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and we appreciate it. If you listen to it a lot and you want to talk to us, then reach out. Twitter, email, whatever.
Yeah, and you too could be at home on a computer with a mic. But
way to really hammer home my heartfelt speech by stumbling through a bad joke.
It means a lot to us.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for listening, and tune in, I guess you've already heard the Xbox episode. Hold on, let me figure this out. Tune in December for microtransactions and some game awards business, and then after that, and join us in 2021 as we continue the adventure of recording remotely and all this government fucking nonsense, because the world is on fire and nobody knows how to fix it. Oh yeah, no politics. I like Pac-Man. Video games.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Later.